The 614th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their Pick 8. Sign up today with promo code MMA SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is loaded up with a ton of picks for every golf tournament and more. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Heidi ho, degenerinos. Welcome to episode 614 of the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It's dedicated to our man Adam that we work with, who got married over the weekend. Why someone will go and get married, I don't know. I warned him in advance, but he went through with it anyhow. So congratulations to him and his new bride, and congratulations to all you people who have found this podcast. It's going to be another stellar episode, as it always is. I am one of your hosts. I almost call myself Jeff Chalks Fox. I am now going by the king of Kung Fu, Jeff Fox. For now, it fluctuates. It's in flux. It's a living, breathing thing. Today is not UFC day, even though we will be talking UFC on Wednesday. We got a big pay-per-view coming up this coming weekend. As for last night, it was a good night for Gumby and myself and anyone who tailed us. So that's pretty much all we have to say about that. We can do more in-depth recap probably on Wednesday, but yeah, things went pretty good. And usually they go pretty good with regional plays too, not because of me. I'm just the setup man, but the man who comes in, the closer who comes in and closes the deal, Daniel Gabriel, and it's pretty good at picking regional fights and who's going to win them, more importantly. This today is all about Cage Warriors 175, as you probably already know, because you're not listening or watching this live. It is on the title that you're taking care of right now. And if you are watching us, speaking of that, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you. The numbers have gone up again, probably because I mentioned it on the top of the show. Usually when I mention it, the numbers go way up. So not the person who's about to mention it again. It's the regional MMA god himself, Daniel Gabriel. Hello.
Yeah, the numbers only go up when I ask you to subscribe and remind you guys that you can turn off notifications. So just click that button. Feel free to turn off notifications. It'll still make us just as happy as we were before. Let's do a quick recap of last week's regional action. We did 15 picks over 3 events. 2 of the fights wound up getting canceled. We did a 9-4 record on the other 13 of them, which is not too bad. We were up about 2 units, largely thanks to Wawrzyniak cashing as a pretty big dog on Octagon. We were actually 4-1 on Octagon, just missed a plus 200 dog, and everything else came through. So a pretty good night, or a pretty good, it was one day, I guess. Pretty good day overall, and then going into the UFC at night, which obviously we'll recap a little bit on Wednesday, because that one was pretty nice too.
Yeah, very profitable. Yeah, it was all one day. You're right. Saturday. We had the 3 events earlier in the day, and then the UFC, evening time. So yeah, it pretty much majority of your picks came through, which is pretty good. Gumby. Someone was talking about. I wasn't in the Discord because I was busy on vacation. Like that's such a thing. But I saw someone mention something about a plus 2,200 hit or something that you hit. What's that all about?
In the Discord, I shared that I had a Hyder Emil, Trey Ogden, Luana Carolina, and Cody Gibson inside the distance parlay at 2,200.
No way.
Wow. Which is, just a dumb one to put together, especially because all of them were like right around even odds. But it seemed like nothing I threw at the wall didn't stick on at UFC Vegas 94. So I'll take it.
What a day. Saturday was a day for you. I assume you didn't put your kids' future college tuitions on it Saturday.
22-1, but no, probably not.
Too bad. Oh well, it's still a fun to hit the big plays. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't noticed already, college football is almost here, and the Sports Gambling Podcast is getting you ready for the college football season with their conference previews. That will be the bosses, Sean and Ryan, and whatever motley crew they have on to help them out with these shows. So make sure you check it out. You can tune in wherever you get your podcasts, or on the SGPN app, or of course on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and watch it there as well. All right, today, as I said off top, is all about Cage Warriors 175 is going down to Manchester. Are you mad for it? Manchester, England on the 25th. So that would be, this is Friday or Saturday. A Thursday. Whoa. This is fantastic. Going to be a Thursday event.
Yeah,
what's up with that? Thursday afternoon. This is super degenerate territory here.
I think this has to do with getting the opportunity to have Dana there because that we're in England already. It's not the same city in England. I'm sure they'll be doing the weigh-ins the day before. So like this is I think a play to get Dana to watch more people.
Yes, this is in Manchester is no, the UFC is in Manchester too, or is it in London?
No, London, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah. Close. Well, it's not really close, but closer than Dana White usually is to Manchester. So yeah, this one's going down in Manchester on Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, people are going to love this in Discord. This is the Degen special here when you're supposed to be working and you're watching and betting on MMA instead. So it's called Cage Warriors 175, going down in the BEC Arena in Manchester, England. It is 1 p.m. Eastern start time on Thursday on UFC Fight Pass, which makes it nice and easy to get. No dodgy streams or any of that stuff, or having to buy it as a pay-per-view. And we got 21 bouts, and we're going to cover them all. Like Gumby said, he's got plays in every fight on the card, even guys that are 5 and 6, or he has plays in them all. So no, we'll do 5. See, people are going to get mad now. We only do 5, blah blah blah. So we'll do 5, but then we will have the lightning round at the end.
I got at least 2 for the lightning round too.
Okay,
so you can get 7 or so. Yeah,
usually has 2. Yeah, maybe this is the way you win money, people, not by making plays on all 21 belts. Just saying. Perhaps that's the way you make money, because Gumby's making money here. All right, we're going to kick things off with the guys. These guys are actually on the poster I see, but Cage Warriors kind of make a graphic for every belt, don't they?
There's that poster that you see on Tapology is not the poster for the event.
No.
But I do have a reason why one of these two is famous. So we'll talk about that.
Okay. Well, I'll do my part, which we got a comment. People love me and the fighter breakdowns before the picks. So thank you, whoever that was on YouTube that enjoys that. I'll make sure I drag it out even longer. Apparently, I think that's what you said you wanted me to do. All right. This fight is, once I can find it, there's 21 fights to go through here, so it's hard to find. Oh, here it is. It's a main card fight. It's at featherweight. It's Kallum Parker from the United Kingdom versus Jack Claffey from Britain. So they're from different places, from England. Sorry. It's very confusing over there. We got Great Britain, we got England, we got the United Kingdom. It can get confusing.
Sure.
Sure, he says.
I got it.
My son and I are always trying to figure out. Okay. Anyhow, Mr. Parker Kallum is actually from Manchester. So he's going to be the hometown boy here. I don't know where the other gentleman is from, but let's break it down. We don't have odds yet, so I can't ruin the fights by telling you the odds when Gumby tries to guess. We're going to tell you about Claffey first. Captain Claffey. It's an even better name. He is 2-1 with 1 submission. So Gumby surely doesn't know anything about this guy. He's been knocked out once. No, you don't. Only 3 fights. Knocked out once. 1 no on Cage Warriors, so that helps. You've seen him at least once. He's won 2 straight fights. Used to fight at bantamweight, 1 no in bare knuckle FC, BKFC. Gumby's a big BKFC guy, so he probably watched him there as well. Parker, 2-4 with 1 no contest. He's got 1 knockout on his resume. He's never been finished himself. 0-2 in Cage Warriors. He's lost 4 straight fights. He is 10 years younger than Claffey and 2 inches taller, so at least he's got that going for him. All right, one of these guys are famous, apparently. Not just because I just mentioned their names, they're famous for other reasons as well.
Well, it was funny, too, because when you mentioned his name, you said this gentleman when you talked about Jack Claffey. And Jack Claffey actually used to be in the WWE wrestling under the name Gentleman Jack Gallagher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so which is funny. Yeah, he was the Gentleman Jack Gallagher. And so he had having to leave the WWE due to, I want to say, some abuse allegations that forced him to resign, or the WWE to let him go, kind of. And then he went right into bare knuckle boxing, so that tracks. I'm gonna say he's gonna be a decent sized favorite here, both because he's kind of got that name behind him, and also obviously Parker's record recently looks pretty bad at 2-4.
Yeah.
I'll say Claffey -300, and I'll take a swing on Parker if he does come in around +250, because let me tell you, if you watch Parker's fights, including the one for Octagon, because he fought for Octagon, I want to say I picked him in that fight too, and it didn't work out. But he is a really good boxer. I particularly like the way he works to the body. like he's a guy who, when he comes forward, he throws hooks to the body really well. If he does wind up in the clinch, he throws knees kind of all right to the body, but like it's mostly his hands. He's mostly just like a really sharp boxer. He's quick. The problem is just pretty much in every single fight he's been in, the other person can shoot a takedown, and he seems clueless about what to do in that situation. And now he gets a WWE guy with a bare knuckle boxing background. Like Claffey, if you've watched him since he's transitioned to MMA, is pretty much a boxer as well. Like he has no interest in being in the ground. He doesn't throw any kicks. He just wants this to be a boxing match. And if it is a boxing match for 15 minutes or however long it lasts, I think Parker is faster. I think he's got a better repertoire of the types of strikes he throws. And I think he works the body, which is going to slow Claffey down in the long term. So if you can get him any kind of dog money here, I like Kallum Parker quite a bit. I think he's way better striker than Claffey.
All right. That's my type of handicap right there. He's a way better striker. I'm going to take that guy. Perfect.
Yeah, that's what you like.
And he's not a goofy-looking WWE guy with a creepy mustache. And
yeah, you're looking up Claffey.
Yeah, I'm looking him up. I wasn't watching WWE at the time, so I don't know.
I don't know who he was either until I looked him up.
Yep. All right. So hopefully we got a big dog right out the gate. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We got to like that. All right, let's get you one more fight before I tell you about some other things, shall we? Here's a name, Actually, no. We're not doing that fight yet. Tapology is all over the place. Sadly, I shouldn't be a Tapology capper, should I? It's my fault. All right. This fight is 155 pounds. Now, another guy from the UK, Ieuan Davies, Ieuan, very interesting spelling, versus Adam Shelley from Ireland. And this is 3 5-minute rounds at 155 pounds. Shelley is 5-2 with 2 knockouts. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. So he's been finishing both his losses. 4-1 in cage wear, so he's fought high level. He's won 3 straight. He's not lost since June 2022. 2 inches taller than Davies. Davies 4-0, 1 knockout, 3 submissions. So he's finished everyone. This guy owes his rounds. 2-0 in cage wears. He's fight at welterweight, a year younger than Shelley. Did one of these guys fight in NXT?
No, I didn't. For a second. NXT is a wrestling thing, right?
Yeah, that's the WWE's feeder league, I think.
Oh, okay. It's their Dana White's Contender Series.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Davies is going to be a favorite here. I think people are pretty hyped on him as a prospect. I know Shelley kind of has some name behind him too. So like maybe only like -175 on Davies. But I like him in this spot for a couple of reasons. Both of them kind of big, tall guys who don't protect their chin as good as they ought to. Shelley kind of is more of using the tall guy defense. I lean away from things and I don't move my head off the center line. And that's a problem in this fight, particularly because I think Davies, the thing he does particularly well is he is reckless. He comes forward. He really gets after it. He like puts a pace on people, whereas Shelley is kind of complacent on the feet. He throws like a few like little flicking kicks and front kicks and stuff like that while he tries to keep people at bay. And then I think he just sort of hopes it turns into a grappling match at some point because Shelley's pretty good on the ground. Like I like his submission skills if it does get there. But I think Davies kind of has the ability to choose if it goes there too. I think he's the better wrestler. I also think, like Shelley's used to being substantially taller than everybody he fights, right? He's 6'3". He's used to fighting guys who are 5'10" or 5'11" at lightweight. Now he's getting a guy who's 6'1" and has a pretty damn good reach for a guy who's 6'1", has striking abilities and the ability to come forward, doesn't have to close the distance as much as Shelley's usual opponents do. I think that all spells disaster for Shelley. So I expect Davies to get in his face, be a little bit reckless. And, like you said, he's gotten everybody out of there. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get Shelley out of there too.
All right. So Davies is pick. That's fine. He gave us a big dog to start off with. That's okay if this one comes in as a favorite. We'll allow it. Speaking of dogs, Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy just launched their college football best ball product. First place wins $20,000. That might even interest Gumby. But that might be more in his range of worthy of betting on. Plus the higher, lower pick 8 allows you an opportunity to win 325 times. That's 325. times your entry. You can now use specials and boosts on all flex entries. Do you have any plays for us this coming week, Gumby?
Sure, I'll take Will Smith higher than 1.5 total bases on Monday. He's got a good pitching matchup for Monday's game too, and in addition to that, he's been pretty hot. Even I believe he had a hit in the All-Star game as well. So yeah, give me Will Smith after the day off on Sunday to get 1.5 total bases.
All right, don't miss your chance to try out Pick 8 before it is gone. Make sure you sign up with our promo code MMA SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com promo code MMA SGPN. And Circa Sports is back with Circa Survivor and Circa Millions, giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. Now that's more in Gumby's range right there. And of course, Circa contests have no rake. Circa Millions, you pick 5 NFL teams against the spread each week and compete for $6 million, or you survive the NFL gauntlet to claim the $10 million prize. Sign up in person at Circa Sports between now and September 7th and use a proxy to play from anywhere. We even have a deal with footballcontestproxy.com to save you $50 with promo code SGP. Don't have a trip booked for Las Vegas yet before football. Ultimate Contest Weekend is a great time to go hang out with our bosses. Ryan and Sean, tell them how great Gumby and Chalks are. Tell them about our magnetic chemistry and how amazing our show is. And enjoy some of the open bar events at the greatest sportsbook in the world, August 22nd through the 24th. All right, we are moving on to another fight. Imagine that. This one is, as I have to search through 21 fights to find it because Tapology doesn't have their act together today. All right, this is a welterweight fight. Stefano Paternò. He is from
Italy.
Italy, yes. Italy and Ireland. Same colors, different the stripes go in different ways. Anyhow, just keep talking, Jeff. Who is he fighting? He's fighting Olli Santalahti, and he is from, I want to say, Finland. Yes.
That's correct.
Correct. All right. 3 5-minute rounds, as per usual. I will tell you about Santalahti first. The Amazing is the nickname. 14-6 with 1 no contest, 4 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out once, so a very durable gentleman. 1-2 in Cage Warriors, 1-2 with 1 no contest over his last 4. He did win his last fight. Used to fight at middleweight, 2012 pro MMA debut. Paternò. He's the guy that they had the statue of, right? At Penn State.
Oh,
this is the guy. This is the guy.
That's a good reference. That's a good call.
Thank you. Different guy. It's almost college football season. Paternò is 17-4-1, 9 knockouts, 5 submissions. Never been finished in a fight. 2-1 in Cage Warriors. Used to be their champion. He's won 4 straight, 3 straight via finish. He's not lost since September 2020. He has multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct to the shirt. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store or a hat like I'm wearing right now. 1-on-1 in Bellator. 2012 pro MMA debut. A year younger than Santalahti.
Yeah, I think with the run that Paterno's on and being a former champ, I think he's got to be the favorite here, right? And I'll say like -200 because Santalahti has been pretty darn good as well lately. I'm going to go Paternò here. I think both these guys kind of want the same thing in a fight. They both want to turn a fight into a grind. They both want to, mix it up on the ground. They both really like front headlock positions, weirdly. In like the last 3 fights I saw of each of them, like they both got to front headlock positions and looked like they wanted darts or anacondas or 10-finger guillotines or whatever they were looking for. They both really like those positions. So I expect them to lead to that kind of grindy place. Which is actually probably a shame for Santalahti because I think he's actually a little bit better of a striker in terms of his his technique. Like I think he's more technically proficient in what he does. But I think this one's going to wind up on the mat. And if it does, I like Paternò there because bottom line is he is better in terms of like positional jiu-jitsu. Like I mentioned, they're both good at like looking for dart chokes or anacondas or, submissions. But one of them, it does that while holding his positions and making sure his opponent doesn't counter him. And the other one gives up positions all the time. Like if you watch Santalahti's win over, I think it was Jamie Richardson in his last fight, that fight, Jamie Richardson winds up countering him and winding up in good positions more than one time. And I think Paternò is a much better grappler than Richardson. And I think, if Santalahti kind of got like over his skis a few times looking for those positions, I think if he does that here against Paternò, he'll make him pay for it, or at the very least have him in positions that allows Paternò to win the round. So give me Stefano Paternò here. I think either a decision or he's going to sub him in a moment where he makes a bad move.
All right. Paternò it is. He said around minus 200, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okie dokie. We'll take it. That's fine. That's fine. All right. We're moving to next. These are the guys I was going to pitch to earlier, right? The gentleman that you may have heard, or at least one of them you've heard of, will be a man known as the Dragon. Yes, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is coming. Another wrestler on this fight card. He's fighting in his old age. No, this one's Mason Jones, actually. He's from Wales. He would be the aforementioned Dragon. He's fighting against Michael Pagani. He is from Italy, right? Right.
You got it.
3-5 in a round. I don't know why I paused. 3-5 in a round.
You're worried he was an Irish guy with the
It's
last
true.
name Pagani.
Yes, you never know. All right, 3-5 in rounds. This is the co-main event. Pagani is sniper, 7-0 with 1 no contest, 5 knockouts on his resume, 1 no in Cage Wars. He's won 5 straight fights. Used to fight at welterweight, 3 years younger than Jones. Mason the Dragon Jones, 14-2 with 1 no contest, 7 knockouts, 3 submissions, never been finished in a fight, 11-0 in Cage Wars. Used to be the 155 and 170 pound champions. He's won 3 straight and 4 or 5. The past 3 wins have all come via TKO. He's not lost since July of 2020, I believe, maybe 2022. 1-2 with 1 no contest in the UFC, an inch taller than Pagani. So he was in the UFC. Now he's back in Cage Wars because the UFC didn't go his way exactly.
Yeah, I was always surprised by that, but it might have just been a little bit too soon because it's not like he's an old guy, right? Jones is going to be a big favorite here. I think with the run that Pagani's on, maybe we will get it at like a reasonable price, like maybe like negative 325 instead of like sometimes you see like the UFC vets betting off at like negative 500 or something like that. Like I don't think Jones will balloon that high. So you'll probably get him at like negative 325, you know, the return on Pagani at like 275. I'm going to go with Mason Jones. I think, you know, for me, if you watch Pagani, like Pagani's got good power in his hands, but also he got backed up against the cage and held against the cage by the guy's name is Power, right? It's James Power. I didn't just talk myself out of that because
I think so. Yeah,
it's Power. Yeah, he got backed up by Power and like held up against the cage regularly. And granted, he stuffed enough of those takedowns to keep it on the feet, and he wound up winning that fight, but this is Mason Jones. And like, you know, the thing about Mason Jones, if you go to his run before he was in the UFC, when he was up at welterweight winning titles too, he was putting people up against the cage and he was using trips to get him to the ground. He was using throws to get him to the ground. Like he's clearly rounded out his game to include judo and wrestling and with all the boxing that he's already had in there. And like, if Pagani winds up with his back against the cage as much as he did in his last fight, I can't see him, you know, not hitting the mat a bunch of times or not losing rounds there. And I think ultimately that's probably where Jones wins this. I think he's probably got the skills to win it elsewhere too. But like, I think if he goes in with a smart game plan, you know, like that's probably the easiest path to a ground and pound TKO. And I think he probably takes that. So give me Mason Jones, even with the big price, probably something we sneak into a parlay.
All right. How about prop? Do you think we can get props in Cage Wars or not?
Not typically. You know, occasionally it'll pop up on some of the bigger, you know, domestic sports books. And like if it does, you know, if this pops up on a, you know, a DraftKings or something like that, you might be able to find props. If you do, I like the TKO prop. Like I like the KO prop on him here because I think even though he's got some submissions in his history, like he seems to be leaning away from that part of his game a little bit. So I like Jones via KO if it does wind up that way.
All right. One thing we both love is rhythm. The British Open is this. Actually, British Open's over, and I hit it. I had an American winning, and American won plus 110. Thank you very much. So anyhow, British Open is over, but Rhythm had all the AI picks and props for Rhythm to help you pick the winner. I picked the winner myself, but you're not me. So you may need to use Rhythm. They had outright winners. They also have picks for top 5, top 10, top 20. You can use their AI caddy to get some great data insights. I'm sure they have it for other golf events coming up, and they have it for NBA when NBA is going on. They pretty much have it for most sports. So check out Rhythm. You can even customize your own golf betting model or any other sport that they have using Rhythm's tools. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right, what do we go to next? The main event. That's where we're going to next. And it is for some shiny gold. It's Cage Warriors Middleweight Championship. The current champion in his first defense would be Dario Bellandi. He is from Italy. Didn't hesitate that time. Robin Roos He is from Sweden. This is 5 5-minute rounds as per usual. And we'll tell you about the challenger first. Roos, pretty boy, is 7-4 with 7 knockouts. He's been submitted one time he's been stopped. This is his Cage Warriors debut, stepping right into the main event and a title shot. He's won 5 of his last 6, won his last fight via TKO, was regional champion, used to fight at welterweight. Bellandi, Neanderthal, is the nickname, 7-1, 3 knockouts, 2 submissions, never been finished in a fight. 5-1 in Cage Warriors and the current champ. He's won 5 straight fights. He's not lost since December 2020. 2 years younger than Roos, 4 inches taller.
So I think Bellandi, between being the champ and Roos's record, you're going to see him as a big favorite here. Let's say -350. We'll get +300 on the return for Roos. I'm going to take a stab on Roos. I opened this with a big underdog in Callum Parker. I'm going to close it with a big underdog on Robin Roos. And the reason is, if you go back and you watch that Dario Bellandi fight against Mick Stanton, Mick Stanton's kind of one-dimensional in what he likes to do on the feet, right? Like, he likes to throw those big loopy hooks and overhands and like try to, throw absolute haymakers in your direction. He doesn't live behind a jab. His like straight isn't necessarily quick. He's trying to throw big loopy stuff. He did that, and he got Bellandi to back up against the cage a lot and not necessarily circle away all that well. He kind of, in certain circumstances, tried to like just punch himself out of it. I don't think that's a good avenue here against a guy like Robin Roos, who I'm going to say 2 things about him that I really like him to beat Bellandi here. The first one being, he's really quick on the feet. Like, when he decides to let combinations go, like jabs and crosses and straights, all the stuff that I said that you weren't getting out of Mick Stanton in that fight, he's pretty crisp with it. I like it. And, like you said, he's got some KO finishes on his record, a lot of them for that reason. I think he could just back up Bellandi here and let go with his hands, especially once Bellandi was against the cage. And then the other thing is, he's so freaking strong. Like, he is very physically strong. And I think if Bellandi tries to take this to the mat repeatedly, I think that's going to play a little bit, because Bellandi, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's got good enough takedowns, right? Like, he's decent enough on the mat. But I think he does have a tendency, when he like fails a little bit, to muscle him and to try to like, sort of use his size and sort of like be a bully to get somebody down. And I don't know that he can do that against Roos. Like, I think he has to stay technical to finish those takedowns. And I don't know if he will have enough success with it, or enough easy success with it, that he won't start to get sloppy with his takedown attempts. So I think Roos is going to pick him apart on the feet. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. If you can see a big dog number next to his name, definitely worth the swing.
All right, there you go. Someone's going to get mad at you for taking an underdog in the main event, but
it's what we do.
It goes, right? That's what we do. And hey, he's successful enough that he's allowed to get away with whatever he wants. All right, let's recap, but don't go away yet. Gummy's got more winning picks for you. Roos, Jones, Paternò, Davies, and Parker are the picks. Hopefully, at least a couple good-sized dogs there for you, and hopefully the other ones don't come through as steep as you think some of them may. All right, lightning round, zap, bang, boom. We got 16 other fights to choose from. Which ones are interesting to you?
So I'm just going to highlight 2 names of guys who I really like on the prelims, or, I don't actually know the construction of this card. Cage Warriors likes to keep it real hush-hush. But 2 names that I see on this card that I just find myself gravitating towards in terms of picking every single time they're on a card. The first one is Jan Hagens, the Q-bomb. Every single time I see this dude in a fight, with as gritty as he is and how he drags, like, he brings the fight to no matter who he's fighting. I just love watching him fight. And so, like, if his number comes in, I'll probably come in dog money, because he doesn't always have the best results. But, like, if it comes in at dog money, I'm really going to, always consider a play on him. And then the other one I like is Kanisakis, who I just find to be such an intriguing finisher, and he's out of Lithuania, like, very fun finisher. And I think, and one of these sort of prelim style fights, if you get a guy in there who has such a good finishing instinct like he does, I mean, that one always tickles my fancy too. So give me the Q-bomb and Kanisakis as my lightning round picks.
All right. Hopefully you all got that. And hopefully you got all his picks. If you enjoy the regional picks, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we've got a bunch more coming for you Monday and Tuesday, more regional action. And then we get into the UFC pay-per-view Wednesday and Thursday. So YouTube, again, of course, is MMA Gambling Podcast. Find us there. Hit subscribe. Everyone will be happy. You don't even turn notifications off. Get notified and watch us. If you're more into listening to us, that's fine. You can subscribe to that as well. Wherever you listen to your podcast. We always hang out in the Discord. Check us out there, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Twitter, we're at SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer there and on Instagram. Subscribe to my Substack, moneymma.substack.com. My paid subscribers are dropping. If you got some money, get a paid subscription. If you don't have money, that's fine as well. Get a free one, and you can, at the very least, enter my free pick'em contest for the UFC. I run every weekend, including this coming pay-per-view, of course, this coming Saturday. Listen to Gummy's podcast, the other one, Top Turtle MMA podcast. He interviews a lot of interesting people. Sometimes they even win fights. Like Steve Garcia, you didn't jinx him. He won in the past this past weekend. So
he looked great, man.
He did look great. Lots of Contender Series people on the show, so make sure you check out Top Turtle. And of course, we are at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, and sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We'll be back in your ears and eyes tomorrow for CFFC 133. Gentleman Jeff Fox and the amazing Gumby Vreeland. We'll talk to you then.